Good afternoon. This is Dr. Vibert White Muhammad from Pine Hills, Orlando, Florida, with Alternative Black News. It's a pleasure to be on again with you to talk about some of the things that are impacting our community. And as you know, the show is hosted by LanceScurv, the baddest, the blackest, the toughest man on the radio, the knockout king who was able to knock out Ken Norton and Ernie Shavers and Mike Tyson all in a one single bounce, in a single punch. You're the black Superman. So we're happy to be on again. It's been, we had a little hiatus.
Yeah.
I know brother was traveling, I was traveling, and I'm so sorry to be disconnected from my brothers and sisters who are listening to our show from all over the world, from all quarters of life and from all types of environments. Because, when you develop a relationship, it's a family. And when you're disconnected, it's almost, you go through separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying, when I'm going to get on again, I have to talk to my brothers and the sisters, and they asking the same thing. So we have a family, we have a relationship, and that's what makes this show much different show that's out there by white, black, or Hispanic, because other shows, they're doing it for entertainment purposes. They're doing it trying to get some type of ranking within order. We're doing this because we love our community. We want to better our community. We want to create an environment that will empower our community to do good things, so that never again, like the Jews will say, never again will anyone hurt us, misuse us, oppress us, and manipulate us.
That's right.
I guess, this is a fine way to enter our show. The past weeks, all I've been hearing about was Trump, 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 either from the left, who hates Trump, or from the right, who loves Trump. Then you have black people getting into the mix. And I'm listening to this.
Blacks for Trump.
Yes. Or blacks against Trump.
Right.
I don't even know why you're into this mix. Because whatever he does really have little effect on us.
Right.
Unless you're talking about him sending some troops to Chicago or something. And I don't think that's going to happen by no means.
No.
As you know, Brother Lance, you're a New Yorker, and Trump is a New Yorker. And if New Yorkers can do anything, they can talk. All right. They're polemics.
Yeah.
So you know how to get things done. You know how to say things, and you know how to manipulate and motivate people by your words. It's an oral society there. New Yorkers can punk people out. I saw this one old Jewish lady at Kennedy Airport, maybe 90 pounds wet. And somebody jumped in front of her while she was in line.
Right.
She put that guy out so quick. You thought that she was a tiger because of her words, her language, the way that she is posturing. Yeah. But, just a side note with all this Trump thing. First of all, for weeks, people have been talking about Russia and his relationship with Russia. Well, black folk, what has Russia done to you? All right?
Right.
I haven't seen any Russian troops come into your neighborhood. Russia has not denied any blacks entry into their country. In fact, they've given free scholarships to people of African descent, no matter where they're from, to study at their institutions.
Boxer Roy Jones, his dual citizenship. He's a citizen of Russia also.
Well, absolutely. So we have one example there. They have given over the years millions of dollars to freedom fighters throughout Africa, the South America, Central America, the Caribbean. So why are you getting so upset? Stop letting other people develop a narrative for you.
That's right.
Then I've been hearing people talking about this wiretapping. Did Obama wiretap Trump's plaza? Who cares?
Right.
If you ask me about, do I believe it? I'm going to say yes. Why are you saying this, Dr. White Muhammad? Because I know about the wiretapping of what this country has done to President Nkrumah of Ghana. All right. Patrice Lumumba, and another African freedom fighter, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, my sister Sonia Sanchez, Louis Farrakhan, and a host of other, even myself as an academic. I mean, we know that they have wiretapped, they have surveillance on us, and they're hide to hand. I mean, now they're just coming to knowledge. People are coming to knowledge now that they had wiretapped Nelson Mandela and placed him on the most terrorist wanted list in this country, even when he is in his 90s. You see?
Wow.
I mean, we come into the knowledge now that they had sent out explosives in cigars so that Fidel Castro would smoke a cigar and it would blow up in his face, sending poisonous powder to him. We know what this country has done. So, I mean, if you know the history, the black man or black woman, don't look back and say, oh, wow, can you believe this? If you say, oh, wow, can you believe it? Then you've been brainwashed.
That's true.
I mean, you've been had, you're disturbed because you know what this country has done to oppress people. Right. All right. And also what they have done to their own. I mean, remember, the FBI also wiretapped former President Kennedy. I mean, that's reality. That's the truth. So again, if you ask me, is it true? I say possibly, probably it is true.
Right.
Does it concern me? Heck no. Or argument or discussion about it? No. That's not my thing.
It's not our fight.
It's not our fight. You know, stay focused. Our fight is that we need more business opportunities. We need better employment, more employment. We need better health care. All right. I'm not looking for the government to do the health care. We have enough churches that can develop a health care system within their own communities, among their own people. So we have to do for ourselves and stop complaining and whining and fighting somebody else's thought.
That's right.
I mean, we have to grow up. You know, today we got the news that Chuck Berry passed away. You know, one of the first men to enter the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A brilliant dancer, singer, a beautician too. You know, he's a beautician.
Really?
Absolutely.
So he did his own hair.
Yeah, I'm a middle class person and also a good guitar player. You know that he was influenced by a sister, Rosetta Thorpe. Rosetta Thorpe is the mother of rock and roll. The greatest rock and roll guitarist that you will ever know, that you will ever find.
But we never know, listening to mainstream and watching mainstream media, they'll let these things come out, but they don't push it. Yeah. And when their people do minimal or have minimal accomplishments, it's the greatest thing. Right. Queen Common Sense, thanks for listening. I see you. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, Rosetta, man, you have to go online and see this sister. I mean, she played Germany, England. She is on the Chitlin circuit. I mean, she was bad. I mean, you saw her.
You better be good when you're on the Chitlin circuit.
That's right. I mean, you saw her. She looked just like an old missionary church. But when she put that guitar around her shoulders, and she played them, oh man! In fact, about it, that fella named Elvis Presley stole a lot of her music and asked me, has the Presley, the Thorpe family, any of that funding?
That's right.
Nothing whatsoever. So, but nonetheless, you know, we hope and we pray that God is pleased with Chuck Berry, and that he has granted admissions into heaven. But for one thing is certain, he has surely entertained us for over 60 years, and we're thankful to him.
Michael Clark. No, I'm going to be calling out names here. Just ignore me. Michael Clark, we see you, brother. Thank you.
Brother Clark, okay, cool. My man. You see, but so what we have is a lot of things that's also going, also talking about entertainment. You know, my brother, was on another show named Craig Hodges. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I heard the name before.
I mean, he played with the Chicago during the heyday of Michael Jordan, but he goes down in history as one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time.
I think I interviewed his ex-wife.
He's a great man.
Yeah.
And, you know, him and I we used to soldier together.
Really?
FOI.
Wow.
Fruit of Islam.
That's history.
And in Chicago. And, you know, he was making at the time almost $1 million a year. But no one would ever know it. He'd be on post with us. He did what was asked of him. And he was a true soldier. And he has a book titled An NBA Freedom Fighter. His story. And you know what happened was that after the Bulls won a title, you know, they always get invited to the White House. So he went to the White House, wore dashiki.
Oh, wow.
All right.
How'd they receive that?
Not good at all. Then he gave the president at the time a letter outlining the issues that Black Americans were facing. President to be more proactive.
They didn't like that.
No. So therefore, the next year, his contract wasn't renewed. All right. He was virtually kicked out of the NBA. This man, I mean, he won 3 titles with three-point shooting, man.
See?
All right. And nobody would pick him up. Not one NBA player, a team. They blackballed him.
Yeah.
All right. Until many years later, the coach for the Lakers, I cannot remember his name, the tall white fella, hired him as a shooting coach a few years ago. So he went from making $800,000 a year to making nothing. He couldn't get a job anywhere, not in this on this continent, in this country, or any place else. He went through a lot of pains, depression. And
his lifestyle changed immediately.
But he took the stance that he was a freedom fighter for our people. He was a great player, but that was just a sidebar.
Right.
And it shows us that if you stand up for what is right in American society, if you're Black, you're looked upon as being a threat, a terrorist, and something no good.
That's right.
And this also leads into another story. This is still with Black alternative news, but these are things that most of you now haven't heard about. There was a report a couple of days ago that over 98% of white Americans think all Black men are threatening and dangerous, no matter what your size is. All right.
No matter what the size, yeah.
Even though the average white man is 10 pounds heavier and 2 inches taller than the average white man. I mean, white man is taller and bigger than the average Black man in this country.
Right.
They still see us bigger and as a threat. I mean, one time I was arrested, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say, hey, Dr. White was arrested. Yeah,
you
Black man? Yeah, hell yeah, I was arrested. All right.
A couple times.
Now, I'm not a short fella. I would say on a good day. And I'm about 180, 170 when I'm in shape. This cracker, and I said it, policeman had me listed on the report, right? 6'6" and 250 pounds. Well, if I was that tall, I surely would have picked a sport to play that I would take it to the NBA or to the NFL. All right. He created this look. All right. Knowing the psychological that it may have on a judge or anybody else because he's a big Black guy.
They're quick to want to say
that's
that.
Right. And now when you walk into the courtroom, not that size, the image is that you're still a big Black threatening guy.
And they're trying to make it seem as though you're trying to downplay your size, but the size wasn't that big anyway. But what they're really seeing is your id, your power, your focus, your intelligence. And we have something that they can't get. We have something that they can't get no matter how much they go to the gym.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
And even if the guy is not, if the brother's not as big, there's a strength about us, even when we're not in our right mind, sucking up the poisons that they give to us. They know that the sleeping giant, when they finally awake, they can't handle us.
That's what the average African American, the average African man, the African American or the black in the Western Hemisphere, we have a natural swag whereby that says that we cannot be defeated.
Yes, right,
all
right.
And we don't care what the pressure or the obstacle is, we're going to get through it.
That's right.
But now what they've been doing, they've been playing with you, and they've been telling you that if you act like this, you're somehow unnatural, humane. So now you have brothers and sisters, brothers especially, sorry, not sisters, who are acting feminized. Not that they are, but they're acting feminized. All right? They're acting passive. They're afraid to look at somebody in the eye. And that's what they have placed on you. So therefore, to be a good boy in school, you have to be feminine acting. Boy, to be responsible, you have to be girly acting. And I'm telling you, sisters, you're helping doing it. All right, you must, if you're a single sister, you must find a brother, find an institution to make that boy of yours become more man-like.
That's right.
You're destroying his nature. You may not like it, but it's the truth. Yeah. You see? And I'll put it like this. Most of you who are sisters and you have feminine acting boys, would you want a man like that? I mean, that's you answer the question.
Right.
What Michael Jackson says has a song, right? Man in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror.
That's right.
And answer that question. Now, keeping up with entertainment, you know, this brother by the name of Colin Kaepernick, I mean, he's a bad brother. And I'm going to tell you how bad he is. Last week, they said all throughout the news that he is going to stand for the national anthem. People said, oh, that's nice, that's fun. He's finally become an American. He's put away his rebellion. This is what the brother's really doing. All right? This brother is working to help the Somalis who are suffering from that drought in their country. This brother single-handedly, two more of his colleagues, pushed the Turkish airline 2 days ago to grant them an airplane, all right, so they can take relief to the Somali people.
That's right.
All right?
He's using his leverage.
He's using his leverage. Now, people, I mean, they have over 2.9 million people who's been suffering and dying from this terrible drought. All right? In the United States, no one has said a mumbling word about it. So he's taking aid there. And also with this, last week alone, he raised over $10 million. All right? This is what Kaepernick is doing. All right? And so all of you are talking about this other stuff about national standing and having his hard hand over the heart. That's lightweight. That's following the example of a Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
You know, a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a Jim Brown. All right? And you never hear about it.
That's right.
Or because you're so busy listening to Trump and his addicts and his and the people against Trump on MSNBC and what is the other? CNN and Fox. If you don't know about this, and if you're a radio host and you don't know about this, you should be ashamed of yourself. All right? This is what your brother's doing. And I'm proud of him, raising all that money for that. Now, let's keep with Africa, because all of you are talking about Trump. What's happening in Africa? Did you realize Eritrea refugees are flowing into Ethiopia? All right? Last month alone in February, over 4,000 resident citizens moved into Ethiopia. Now, some of you say, where the hell is that? Is Africa? Hell yeah, it's Africa. All right? The northeastern part of Africa, your homeland.
Right.
All right?
They don't even know it.
All of you brothers who call yourself Rastafarians, what they smoking? What they smoking? Ganja. All right? Having your head knotted up. you know, and dreads, saying thank you for the people you love, and Haile Selassie. Most of you don't even know where Eritrea is. All right?
Right.
But find out what is taking place there. They're leaving Eritrea for Ethiopia because they're saying that there's crimes against humanity.
Right.
There's forced enslavement. There's rape. Professors like myself can't even teach. There's discrimination. They're being forced into the military. True, all of it may be true. But it's for you as people of African descent in the United States is to do your research and find what's taking place in your homeland. Don't you think European Americans don't know what is taking place in Europe?
That's right.
I mean, this whole thing about immigration, Trump is looking at what's taking place in Germany, Ireland, what's taking place in Italy, France. They know what's taking place in their countries, all right, in their homeland, but you don't know nothing about what's taking place in your own homeland because you're so caught up with other people's news. So I'm asking you, I'm begging you to stop that foolishness. Let's keep this up again with South Africa. The home of Nelson Mandela, all right? The place that we were so proud of, fighting against apartheid. There. They're having moves right now to restrict immigrants to South Africa. I mean, the Home Affairs Minister by the name of Malisi Gingabi said that we welcome all Africans, but we have to be concerned about our own safety.
Right.
What's taking place there? They welcomed in over 16 million Africans, but they deported 23,000. Now, what's happening?
And we're over here on this side, not even realizing what's going on. And
Is it because they don't like their brothers and sisters? But every society is fighting to keep their jobs because the South Africans are saying that the other Africans are taking their jobs. We have to keep abreast to what's taking place so that we can help South Africa and our African brothers develop a solution. In fact, we should have an Africa with no borders. In fact,
imagine that.
Kwame Nkrumah, 1962, and our brother Gaddafi, a few years ago, the one that, yes, your government assassinated. All right, and guess what? He was wiretapped.
Right.
Yeah, you know,
really? They could do that?
I mean, and he was calling for what? A United States of Africa.
Right.
All right, that would create a large, wonderful society, would have their own monetary system backed by real gold.
A lot of people were asleep then.
I mean, that would give our homeland to become a major element within this world. I mean, we already have the raw resources, the richest continent in the world, with raw resources. Now with the proper leadership.
But you know what, though? They wouldn't tell us, go back to Africa then.
Yeah, that's right. They wouldn't. They just say, stay here. Stay here. Please stay here. We'll go to Africa. You know, you see? But that's what's taking place there. You know, and that's something. Talking about money, check this out, man. A preacher, and I don't really talk all that nice about preachers, but a preacher from Sierra Leone, guess what he discovered? A 706 carat diamond carat. He discovered it. That's about the size of a hockey puck. All right. Now, note, Sierra Leone in 1972, someone founded a diamond carat of 990 carats. It is a major place for diamonds in this world.
Well, that's why our oppressor wants to be over there and kick us out.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And guess what? This is a good minister. He could have just tried to sneak it out.
Right.
You know, drive all the the Rolls Royce, Bentley, you know.
And their cars above that, but
something like that. But this is what he did. He gave it to the government. And he said, utilize this.
Right.
Man, that's admirable.
It is.
Now, brothers and sisters, would your minister do that? I bet
Creflo Dollar.
No,
Eddie Long.
You go to church next week and he won't even be there.
Exactly, he's gone.
You don't know where he is. He'll say, assistant minister, you take you over to church. All right.
Rose Brown, big shout out. Sir Beasley, Barbara Jacobs in the UK.
UK.
Yes.
Oh man, the UK, they're rocking. You see, the UK has some serious brothers and sisters over there that's doing some real stuff.
That's right.
And they're on the forefront of this. Talking about West Africa, UK has a lot of West Africans. Got a lot of everybody over there.
That's right.
But check this out, Morocco. Now, Morocco, you say, Dr. White, why are you dealing with Africa? Because you don't hear nothing about Africa.
And you won't over here.
Yeah. You don't hear nothing.
That's right.
Now, Morocco is typically referred to as an Arab country. Light skin. But now they have asked for entry into the West African Regional Commerce Bloc. Now, what is going on there? That's because Morocco is going broke. You see, no one is going there for oil any longer. There are no diamonds there. The fishery is all but used up. It's that they want to be connected to the sub-Sahara. In fact, they claim parts of the Western Sahara.
They see what's coming for Africa.
They see what's coming down.
Yeah.
They're coming down the pike. Now, I don't mind them doing this, but this is a sign for you people who's dark-skinned, Africa, and who's running from Africa into Europe. All right? You need to stay in place. If you're in Europe, you need to utilize your resources, your intellect, and go back home, because Africa, and which I stated at a lecture a few days ago for the university, that Africa is the continent of the 21st century. And that's why everyone is scrambling into Africa. I mean, China and the United States, they knocking each other down
for real
to have a footing there. You need to go there and do something. That's the place. If you want to, they talk about the poverty in Africa. Yes, we have poverty,
right,
but we have so much wealth there in raw materials that if we have the proper leadership and be able to keep the Western powers at length,
right,
where there would be no poverty in Africa. But because we have been hypnotized, thought and Western ideology and what they have, we think that they have everything is good. When you look at it, I asked the question, why would anybody from Africa be going to Europe? What does Europe produce?
No, but look at it this way. Even still, look at the Americans, right? Folks over here, Black Americans, right?
Right.
You talk about Africa. I don't want to go over there and live in no mud hut. I don't want to go over there and with the flies and around my face and poverty. No, I don't know nothing about that place. I'm not African.
Yeah, but how about this? But you want to go to Detroit to live in a shanty?
Right.
Detroit. I love Detroit, but Detroit is in bad shape. You can live in and I call it a shanty. All right, you may want to call it brick and mortar. I call it a shanty. All right, and if you're talking about living in Africa. Well, first of all, I've never seen a mud hut in Africa. I traveled to Africa more than most people.
That's right.
Tell them.
I
had a condominium there. Floor. All right, looking over Dakar.
Beautiful.
I didn't see no donkeys running around. Zebras walking the streets. I saw modern cities.
That's right.
In fact, some, maybe some parts of Africa is becoming too urban. But you have a lot of parts of Africa that hasn't even been touched. It's a beautiful continent. It is for us. Now, let me keep on going. I'm gonna change this a little bit to the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah, the Middle East. Again, you're not listening to the news again. The United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia for the Middle East stated that apartheid. They are an apartheid state, and that their laws and their rules and their oppression against the Palestinians is humanity. You all didn't listen to that last week. They said that the report came out and said that they colonize, they occupy, liberating people by power, even cutting off the water.
But now they're officially saying that. But I mean, to me, it's like, well, what else is new? They've been doing that.
They have been, yes. Yeah. But what is new about it is that the UN. Remember, the UN has been in the back pocket of the United States and Great Britain and France for so long, in Israel.
Right.
So they were never able to come with that type of report. It's the same type of report that was done against South Africa, and the report also stated that Israel like this must end. We must have a new structure of Israel. The question is, my brother Lance, and to the readers and to the listeners, is to where will our politicians, the black politicians, stand on this? The Black Congressional Caucus. All right, how about my what's the brother's name? The Muslim out of Minnesota, Ellison. Name slips me. Yeah, Keith Ellison. You know, he was apologizing a month or 2 months ago, saying that, I'm sorry that I said anti-Semitic things when I was with Minister Louis Farrakhan, but I always support Israel and the Jewish people, and I've just been a bad little boy, and please forgive me because I want to be the Democratic head. Well, you're not the Democratic head. And now you're going to file your testicles and speak out on.
So now you got to kiss their behind and go through that whole speech. And oh God, it's almost like even over here where you can't speak anything that is not against, but something of truth. Well, let's say against the LGBT community. If you don't agree with them on something, they blackball you. You know, that you have to bend, and yes, this and that, and it's okay and whatever. I mean, you can't even speak your mind. So even as a politician, you're compromised. You have to pass that litmus test of Israel BT community.
Oh my God.
You see what I mean?
Yes, I mean,
and you better do it in an effeminate fashion.
That's right. Let
me just say that, yes, you can call in, but call in, mute your phones. When we're ready to open the lines, we'll have you talk with Dr. White Muhammad.
Yeah. So yeah. You can't say anything, especially if you're a black man. A war on black males, straight black males.
Yeah.
All right. Because if you say something that is strong, you're anti somebody. You're the bad black guy. You're threatening. You're terrorist. You're bigger than what you are. You hate people. We don't hate no one. We're the most loving people in the world. For example, you had a brother by the name of Robert Williams, right? In the 1958 CP, he wrote the book Negroes with Guns. And this white lady got lost going through the black community. And the black community was already hot because they was pissed off with the KKK. They're going about war with the KKK, right? So instead of this woman, not allowing this woman to get mixed in the crowd because they would have attacked her, he saved this woman, helped her, protected her, and helped her to get out the community. And then they issued him, Robert Williams, with kidnapping. He saved a woman. All right. Why? Because he's a black man.
Right. American way.
That's all to it. You know, and that's why all of you need to see that movie, I Am Not a Negro, that comes out, that talks about James Baldwin and his relationship with Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and Malcolm X. The brilliant documentary. Saying in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, and 80s still rings true today, that the biggest threat in this country is the black man. And that you're only accepted if they marginalize you,
right?
Or if you if you downtone or play down your blackness. That's what Obama did.
Leave your blackness at the door.
That's right. Yeah, let's take some questions because I'm on a roll here. I'm all up. I'm all hyped now.
Call in, everybody. 888-575. And you can call in now. We'll give you a little time to call in. The lines are open. If you're bum rush or some foolishness, you get cut off.
I see. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I see one brother ask, do I live in Africa? No, I don't live in Africa. I used to spend a lot of time in Africa. I have property in Africa. Senegal. I travel to Africa more than most people.
Right.
From the North Africa, from Libya, right on down to Botswana to Namibia. Africa. In fact, in September, I have to be in Africa again. I'm going to Nigeria to give a lecture. I was just invited, so that's where I'm going to go.
You got to get some footage to bring back.
We got to take you. No, we got to go. We got to take you there.
I'll go.
We have to find a way to take you there.
Go. I'll go.
I mean, if you all want to see Brother Lance go to Africa, you send him donations for him and his wife to go, because we have to protect people like Lance.
Well, you know what? When I get out there, I work.
I know.
mean, every morsel, there'll be the camera rolling and the live streams and all the footage, so you'll get it. We'll go to the street and talk to the people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'll be lovely.
That's right. I mean, you don't get a full story of what's taking place. I mean, for example, they talk about Boko Haram. I mean, I don't support the group, and they ask, why is it growing so big? Why they can't stop it? It's because in the areas where they're giving people food and resources that the Nigerian government is not giving.
That's right.
All right. That's how any of these cartels and so forth do things. Give to the people. I mean, you asked the question, well, why is the drug cartel so alive in Colombia and Venezuela, all right, and Brazil and Mexico and these places? Because they give things to the people that the government is not giving.
That's right.
And you say, oh, and how is that? That's so terrible. Well, doggone it. Look at your own history. Look at the mafia in the United States.
That's right.
I mean, the mafia gave food and jobs to Italians who lived in New York and Chicago and LA and throughout the country when the white government wouldn't do it.
That's right.
Didn't we have what's that, Nicky Barnes? Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, and others doing the same thing to brothers in the Black community.
But see, when we get, even though we may not condone certain things, and people can say, well, they're killing off the people and doing this and that, but when we get a chance to boost up some, because the powers that be don't care about any of us, right?
Yeah.
But when we have a chance to boost up some, and these folks who may be dealing in certain things can send kids to college, school, and I'm not condoning what they do, because there is death and destruction. I understand that, but let some good come out of it if you do something on a large scale. Because if you say, well, that's so terrible, then you wouldn't have John F. Kennedy as a president. And bootleg liquor, which at the time was so illegal, it was comparable to crack today.
Right. That's right.
Right? So this is how we put all this kid, John, Robert, all the whole family, he undergirded them off because he passed away or whatever, and the family went on, and they have this Kennedy dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, we admire the bootlegging of Mr. Kennedy.
Right.
I mean, we admire the Jewish gangsters, and there were a lot of Jewish gangsters.
Oh yeah.
All right, that were mafia players, and we admire them. We admire the Italian gangsters. Their folklore. Almost every Italian American want to, be affiliated with the mafia. Look at that show that used to come on several years ago, the Sopranos.
Right, HBO.
Number one show for several years.
Right.
You have kids walking around, little skinny Italian kids talking about I whack you and things like that, because they had an admiration for it.
Right.
All right.
Right.
What kid in New York don't know the Five Families?
Right.
All right. The Italian mob there. America's a strange place, man. I mean, we admire criminality. We have someone coming on.
We have a caller?
I thought we did.
Hello? Hello.
Little child.
Am I live?
Hello.
Hello?
Okay, who am I speaking to? We have several callers here.
Am I live?
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I already know what this is. Let's just whack it. Okay, we're gonna lock down the conference for now, and we'll cut all this out. We have someone from Georgia who just called in.
Okay, this is Tabitha from Georgia.
Yes, if you can do me one favor and cut your computer down in the background noise, because it's somewhat of an echo. That's okay.
Okay. Yes, I've been calling. I said, I wrote a comment saying Africa is beautiful. I think the media they show about Africa that negative things about Africa, but I've had did research. I didn't realize Africa's got a lot of beautiful history.
Yeah, many are unaware of that.
Yeah, well, you studied the history of humanity and the humanities, and I would encourage you, if you have a local college or an interest group that is doing humanities studies, look at it. I mean, everything. What the world, Africa gave the world humanity, world civility, gave the world culture and science. It was the birthplace, and it is the cradle of it. I mean, oftentimes we say the Fertile Crescent about the Sumerians as being the first civilization. Well, we're finding evidence now that the first civilizations were in Africa. I mean, the place where people develop, and civilization is art and history and culture and learning and sciences. That's what Africa has gave to the world.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, the Africans knew about the Pythagoras theory. Pythagoras was even born.
Right.
We understood, and we had understanding of the genetic makeup of man. Issues of how the moon and the stars in the solar system operated.
Mm-hmm.
We were born into this. All right. That is why the first universities came out of Timbuktu, and they built the second university and on the Iberian Peninsula. I just lost the name of it, but and
you have so much knowledge. You have so much knowledge in your head. It's just sometimes it's like a glitch.
So what happened is that learn anything about Africa. They don't want you to learn that the roots of Arabic is Swahili.
But
that Swahili influenced Arabic.
That's right.
They don't want you to know that Africans had great civilizations from every part of the society. And even though they had skirmishes and wars, they functioned primarily in a peaceful setting.
Yes.
All right. They had détentes. You see, and it was wonderful. So what they have here, like James Baldwin stated, they had the making of a Negro. And that if they take this information from you, that Africa just had a bunch of black savages being led by Tarzan.
No, but you know what though? You know, really seriously, the world, these people who are the spin masters of these lies, they're going to pay. This world is going to pay for what they've done to Africa. And I'm going to say it this way. Okay, Christians say, you have to honor your father and your mother that your days be long on this earth, or whatever translation you want to get into. But Mother Africa is the mother of all on this planet. For those who roll with the narrative of this ignorant stuff and propaganda that's put out there, would you call your mother a bitch? Would you rape your mother? And we know the people who would even lay down with their own mothers. We know who they are. It's just in their tradition. Such harsh terms. Because they're raping Africa of her resources. See? And they turn around and put out propaganda to make Africa look less than what it is. So it's like calling your mother a bitch, raping her, taking stuff, lying on her, but you're going over there and you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And so if you look at that scripture, the Bible, right? And you apply it to Africa, who are the people who are doing that? And those of us are just as guilty for running behind and pushing that whole agenda and that whole imagery, the false imagery, while this stuff goes on. Balance is correct. Someone's going to pay harshly. And it may not be a thing where tit for tat immediately, but over time, balance, if you know anything about the universe and the laws, balance wins out every time. When you tip, just the same way this planet is a living planet, a living, breathing entity, and you rape the resources off the land, cut down all the trees, and see what happens to the weather. There has to be balance.
That's right.
Physical, mental, and spiritual balance. And we're way out of balance. And those of us who are trying to bring balance back to the planet, we're the ones who are attacked.
That's right. In fact, there's two types of people, right? I mean, the Europeans, they were primarily Neanderthal, you know, while the Africans was Cro-Magnon, modern man. And so while the Europeans were living in caves and not really understanding how fire worked, the Africans were living really in a modern existence, having sewage systems, having where they were able to cultivate crops and feed multitudes of people, having trading centers throughout different parts of Africa. So Africa was a great place, and we have to begin to teach that again. And then we have to work to establish Africa as a major place for humanity again to do, and only we can do it. I want to thank you for your phone call. And
okay, thank you. I was nervous calling.
You have a beautiful voice, and you know, tomorrow I'm driving through Georgia. I don't know what part of Georgia you live, but I'm taking my son. I'm taking my son on a road trip, Brother Lance. We're going to West Lafayette, Indiana, to see Purdue. He's 14.
Wow.
Now I'm going to show you this.
And you were just in New Orleans.
That's right.
Wow.
But I'm going to show you some of the stupidity of some of our people. And this is coming from a member of my own family, the sisters in Georgia. And so cousin said to me, from Jamaica, right? He said, Vibert, beautiful Jamaican dialect. Why are you taking him to Purdue? He could go online to have a virtual tour. And I said, dummy. And don't you take your son to see the basketball team, the Magic?
Right.
He could watch the Magic on TV. But you want him to have an experience. And so we have to do the same thing educationally. If you can spend the time to take your child to a football or basketball game,
that's right.
You can also take your child to a university to give him or her the foundation,
right,
to love learning. You know, at one time we used to be called the people of the book, Jews. Right. There's something that we have in our community called the taste of honey. Now, typically when we talk about the taste of honey, we're thinking sexual, because that's where our mind is.
Right.
Oh, baby, I want to taste the honey. We're talking, oh, yeah, baby, come on, big daddy, taste the honey. You know? So we think something at that level. But the taste of honey was really is that when a child reached the age, 4 months, you have that child when he's crawling to cross the floor maybe 5 yards or so.
Yeah.
And you put the taste of that honey on a book, Bible, the Torah, the Quran, or any book of learning. And that child would taste the honey. It symbolizes that child will always love learning.
Right.
Because we are the authors of all books.
Yes.
Coming from our humanity. But other people have hijacked. Until you believe that other people are the people of the book. The people of the book really represents the people who love learning and scholarship.
Right.
And that is us. And keep note, even though your mother or great-great-grandmother could not read, they kept the most prized possessions where? In the Bible. Right? The birth certificate, extra money.
That's true.
In the Bible.
That's true.
It's in there. It's in our DNA.
Right. That's right.
You see? So yes, I'm driving through that great state of Georgia.
And that's good because, like you said, you're setting a foundation, and that hands-on experience is something that will permeate deep into his core. Right. And he'll never forget that. He'll never, and when he hears about the places I was there, and also too, down through the years, as you raise your son into the great man he's going to be and the great young man that he already is, from way back when he was about so tall, right? Now I'm looking up at him. You know, you've always saturated him this way, so nobody can come at him in any way. And for him to get to a certain age, so young, and to have traveled so many places and to witness the great people that you bring around him, he's already mighty, but oh man, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's what we have to do with our children. I thank God for giving me the ability to teach him.
And you're to be honored as a father. You're a true man and a true father.
Thank you. You know, I forgot to mention something else. Going back to the news, if you allow me to.
Yeah, no, take your time.
You know, I mean, I know I'm not Walter Cronkite. Well, I'm better than Walter Cronkite.
You're better than him.
Walter Cronkite.
You sound better. You look better. You have more information, and you're not controlled by anybody. That's the main thing. You're independent.
And I'm alive. But you know, there's a report that came out again by the UN last week that the United States is using white phosphorus on the people in Syria. Now, some of you who may not know what white phosphorus is, it's a chemical agent supposed to be used in wartime to light up fields so that the military can see their way. Open it from planes onto the civilians or the Syrians. Now, what does it do to you? Any of you brothers who have been in the military or in Vietnam know that when it touches the skin and the muscle right down to the bone. It's been outlawed by the World Court and the UN to really utilize as an agent, a weapons agent. And that's what our country has been using for the last couple of years. And they're asking the question now, why can't they stop ISIS? I mean, when you're utilizing this type of weapon,
that's right.
All right, you create an anger, a hostility, a hatred of people who say that they want to get you back because they're seeing this chemical dissolving people's faces, their arms, their body to the bone. That's a horrible way to die, man.
Yeah.
All right, I wouldn't wish that on my greatest enemy. I wouldn't want that to happen to. All right. And that's being kept from the news, from the American people. So you're right, as you said earlier, that while people are talking about Trump, there's some serious stuff that's going down the pike.
That's right.
That you don't know.
We have a false sense of security here because these things can happen here. Last night I was up till 7 o'clock this morning, actually doing some different things. Some type of altercation not too far, and I heard the helicopters and I felt the vibration. They were flying pretty low. And you saying that, you know, how do I know that something was really going on in the neighborhood? Possibly they could have been dropping something and we're thinking, oh, the cops are doing something and we need to stay inside. Who knows what they're doing here? Why are they so quick to bring the helicopters out in the black neighborhood?
Yeah.
You know?
Neighborhoods are really colonized communities. If you go to any black neighborhood, most of the black neighborhoods in the country are squared somehow between a major interstate, all right, and some state roads. They squared in, all right, and they have separate lines that deals with water and electricity. So therefore, when something takes place in your community, they lock you in, they confine you.
Yeah,
you can't get out.
People don't think about that.
And then you that's why you have very few grocery stores in the black community. All right, because if there's something taking place, you can't run to the grocery store and get some food or get some batteries or something because there's none there.
People don't think that way. They think,
so therefore, you just going up and down the street, breaking up some buildings. All right, you're locked in. And that brings up another issue they're talking about. They always say, why black people always destroy their own self? Well, you know, damn it. People forget about the Warsaw Ghetto in Poland and the Jewish community. They destroyed their own community too because they were confined. Out of the hostility. They're fighting against a
pressure
system.
cooker.
All right? But when you do something, it's like you're crazy. And I'm asking all of you, I don't care if you live in France, Botswana, all right? So I don't care. But you have to begin to change the narrative so that we can be free and have independence and have real strength, right, for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was looking at this show. I'm talking so much, man. I'm so sorry.
No. I'm not but man, I'm loving this. I'm soaking it in. This is nutrition. You think anybody's complaining in the chat room? Just show me appreciation.
I was looking at this show, The Dawn of the Apes, right?
Uh-huh.
And they have the leader of the apes called Caesar. You know, he could do sign language. He can talk a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he organized his community outside of San Francisco into the wilderness. So this white guy, he goes into the wilderness because he has to get to some plant to work on the electrical generator so the white community can have power. So Caesar, he's going to let them in. But Caesar has a top lieutenant. I can't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
And Caesar's telling him, we have to help the humans. We have to help the humans because he seems to be good. Now, his top lieutenant, he has all types of scars on his body. Mm-hmm. He says, Caesar, the humans, you know, see, whites become humans now. The humans, they experimented on me. They did this to my arm. They did this to my face because he's blind in one eye.
Mm-hmm.
They cut his throat. He said, Caesar, this is what the humans do.
That's what they
we
do.
Cannot trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Let us live in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going, in a sense, they're close to us, we must attack them before they attacked us. You know who did that in history? Hannibal.
That's right.
Did that to the Roman Empire. He said, the bad boys over there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was an African general, right? Going back to the African history.
That's right.
All right. Who took the fight to the Romans. He was the first one. He was the only one who to ever beat the Romans in a military conquest.
Name some of our male children Hannibal more so.
Yeah.
We need this Quantavius and all this made up craziness.
Yeah.
Let's do so when a kid says, well, I hear this name in the history books and ignite that spirit.
See, they don't want you to remember Hannibal. Instead, when you see Hannibal, you're thinking Hannibal Lecter, some savage cannibal who's eating people. Hannibal, dark people like us, bald head like us, right? The greatest general in the history of the world.
That's right. But they want to change the vibration of that name.
That's right.
Because you think of Hannibal Lecter and say, oh no. But they took that.
That's right.
You know, but don't be fooled by that.
That's right. So you think of George Washington, great general. General Patton, great general. I mean, Hannibal, check him out. He took elephants, man, to cross the Alps. And first of all, it amazed anyone that it could train elephants to do this.
Wow.
And then he knew he needed a lot of people to go with him. So he had a sizable army, but he picked up people on the way.
Yeah.
Say, your enemy is my enemy, so you're my friend.
Right.
That's where that comes from, right?
Right.
So when they marched into Rome, the Romans said, oh my God. Elephants, black men. I mean, he tore up everything. So for the next several years, almost 10 years, the Romans changed their greetings. At this thing about they must destroy Hannibal. And they would come to each other. They say, instead of saying good morning, good afternoon, they say, Hannibal must be destroyed, Roman citizen.
And they kept
and the response was, yes, Hannibal must be destroyed. In the same way, we say in reference to ISIS and Al-Qaeda, it must be destroyed today.
Yeah, you see.
It must be destroyed.
Yes, yeah. And they keep pumping it over the TV and over the radio.
It becomes a national consciousness.
Yes.
You see? Don't realize it.
Wow.
You know? And that's why there's also a hatred against Africans who are Muslims. Because remember, the Africans controlled Spain for 500 years. Now, even though all they have, yes, thank you.
Okay, coconut water, y'all. Coconut water, no sugar. It's from Brazil.
Oh, Brazil. Okay, it's from Brazil.
And you know Brazil quite well.
Absolutely.
But keep going to your flow.
Coco, yo. From Brazil. From Bahia, Salvador.
give us switch up and and talking a different language, brother. You know several languages.
Okay,
Go ahead. Just give us a little taste. Let's hear you say something.
I will. But seriously, but soon one day we'll be able to produce our own water.
Yeah.
All right. Going back to water, I mean, Flint is still suffering.
I know.
Still suffering. And I don't want to say a mumbling word about it.
Yeah. How loving and nice this government is.
Yeah.
This society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people are suffering. But listen, this has been great. Man.
No, I know. And the folks are loving it. Big shout out to Eugene
Appleyard.
Yeah. Barbara Jacobs, of course. Eugene Lott. Yeah. Rose Brown.
Oh, a couple of things I want to say lastly. We have a sister in Orlando, which I'm very proud of. Her name is Aramis Ayala, and she is the Attorney General for this area.
Yeah.
Sister from Brooklyn. Her husband used to box out of the Gibson gym.
Wow.
And
history.
She had cancer, had all her hair taken off, but she's a fighter. And she beat the incumbent. And she is able to raise over $1 million to beat the incumbent. So you have a case a few weeks ago where a black fella, he killed a policeman. His name is Marquise Lloyd. A black policeman and killed his girlfriend, I believe, allegedly. And we don't condone that. That's wrong. Right. He should suffer the consequence.
Just want to say real quick, there's more to that story than meets the eye. I'm in the street all day, and there's a couple of things that'll be shocking, but go ahead.
Okay. And so what happened is that the Attorney General said that she is not going to seek the death penalty. She said it's proven that the death penalty doesn't change society.
That's right.
All right. It doesn't stop crime or nothing like this. Well, what the governor did, Governor Scott of the state of Florida, removed her. And all of these law enforcers and even black people, even Sheriff Dennings, Jerry Dennings came out against her, saying that, now the question is, what happened to your Christianity about thou shalt not kill?
Right.
What happened to that?
Right.
What happened to the concept, let God take care of this? He's going to suffer enough in jail. But as Baldwin stated, they don't believe in Christianity.
That's right.
or the laws of justice of God.
They talk it, but they don't believe it.
They have blood running down their mouth, wanting to kill him. All right, because it's not that he killed a black woman officer, allegedly, but he went against the state. Even if you have a black face there.
Right.
All right, and we're going to make you pay. Now, let's suppose that you and I had this feeling. Kill everyone who has done us harm as a race. There wouldn't be not one white man or woman living in this country. Right?
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
Because we live in a state of Florida, highest percentage of lynchings in any other state in the country. For some of you who don't know, Florida, which is, we had a Florida Gators, they use black children, infants, as gator bait in this state.
And this is not just a few isolated incidents.
No.
You understand? They have postcards that people are finding in old treasure chests from their grandfolks and great-grandfolks of this happening this way.
Yeah.
But look at the symbolism.
That's right.
So,
America should be happy that we're touched by God.
Yeah.
That we are a forgiving people. We're angered.
Yeah.
Hate. But we have not created a wholesale of a movement to go out and kill white people.
Right. And they're looking out for that too.
Let's see.
They're looking out for that because they say, these Negroes must be, getting ready to do to us what we did to them.
Yeah. But they don't understand that when God moves a person to do that, they least expect it.
That's right.
You see, there's not going to be no frontal assault. It's going to be like some of those sisters who used to be on the plantations. Sisters can cook food. And, you Haitian and you Jamaican and you African sisters, you all know how to use plants. That's right. So if you can use an herb to taste good, you can use the same herb to kill you.
That's right.
And so there were many cases during the plantation period where slave masters woke up dead.
Exactly.
Slaves are just working in the yard.
Exactly.
And no one has seen the master nor the master's wife. They're in bed because they were poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's why, you know, you brothers, that's why your mother sometimes tell you, you know, be careful. You don't make a sister mad at you. And she has to cook your food. You know, don't tell them what you'll get.
That's right.
And she's looking at you eating.
Right.
And she's not eating. And she's saying, baby, doesn't it taste good? And you say, yes.
Give me some more.
You know, you grow a third eye in the morning,
right?
a sixth finger, I can't walk. And you say, take me to the doctor. I don't know what happened.
Exactly. And they can't find out what it is.
I mean,
exactly.
We have some powerful sisters, so don't get a sister mad at you.
And a lot of you racist cops that are out there, you know, be careful when you go to McDonald's and get that little bun or get that little bit of coffee. You know what I mean? It may not be a big black man coming at you and you paint him as a monster coming at you. It might be that young lady who's serving you your coffee.
That's what you tried to hit on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that sister has a good husband home, and she don't appreciate it.
That's right. That's right. But it's okay because they're animals, and they're there for that. You drive up and down and look at these big black backsides, and they're there for your pleasure. That's where you get the name Honky from.
That's right.
Coming into our neighborhoods, thinking all the sisters are out there prostituting.
And I'm glad you said that, sisters. Have better value of yourself.
Yeah.
You're God's woman. For yourself.
Right.
You know, a man, I don't tell you as a man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A man would play with you if you're looking like that. Take you out from the club to the bar, take you to his car, take you to the bathroom, take you maybe to his house, and have fun with you for an hour.
Right.
All right. But that man won't take you to see his family. Because a man wants to take a decent woman.
That's right.
Who's covered, who's clean, who's acting in a manner that is presentable.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's right.
So therefore, if you're living that lifestyle, change it.
Mm-hmm.
No one has to force you, but you just look at to yourself and you ask the question, do you want your son, if you have a son, to be involved with a woman who's doing the things that you're doing and dressing like you?
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
Do you want your mother to be like that? That's all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just common sense.
Mm-hmm.
But listen,
yes,
you got to get out of here, man.
Yes, I know you have a busy schedule. Thank you so much.
I'm leaving early in the morning. And, you know, I'm going to chat with you as I drive.
Right.
And see what I see. And we're going to stop by Muhammad Ali's museum.
No, seriously, if I'm here, I want you to call and give a little blow by blow. I know you're with your son, your family, but if you can, just the things you see, if you can get somebody to get on the phone and live or record it, we're going to bring a little piece of that.
And that's right. And I'm telling you now that if I'm being stopped by a policeman or someone who don't look very friendly, I'm going to call in. I'm going to give you give you my 1019,
exactly.
My 1020, right?
And I'll be right here.
Yeah.
We'll broadcast it all over the world.
What it looks like.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I thank you. And listen, next week, same time, you tune into Black Alternative News and write your own narrative. God bless you and thank you. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.